Welcome to Pesto Comics Audio Edition. This is a late entry for July 18th, 2025, delivered to you on July 19th. Con Journal, East Coast Comic Expo. My first time out to the Maritimes. Welcome back. I'm usually worried when I send this newsletter out an hour or two late, but what about a full 24 hours? As we were heading out to the Hopewell Rocks in New Brunswick, I knew there was no chance of getting this newsletter together for my usual deadline. Instead, I opted for a note. You can see that on the Substack. And yes, as Chris Stahl notes, the red backpack gentleman is indeed grabbing a handful. I didn't notice this as I posted, and summarily got asked to move along by someone trying to take photos as I crafted this post. It's a cliche, especially for me, but we need a vacation from our vacation after this trip. We spent most of the time traveling between Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick, with little time to sit back and relax. Right up until the end, we were in a hurry, making it just a few minutes before boarding our plane back to Toronto. This wasn't just a vacation, though. This was a working trip as I visited the East Coast Comic Expo for the first time. Last week, I talked about how TCAF left me feeling a little bit empty. Though I got to reconnect with a lot of friends and meet a couple new ones, the weekend weighed on me a bit. This was an entirely different experience. Before I tell you how, let's talk some business. Worklog Updates. With everything I had going on out east, I didn't get much work done. I had high hopes, but here we are. This week, I spent the weekend at the East Coast Comic Expo, and I signed on as the Indie Authors Canada Community Engagement Coordinator. This is the plan for next week. Finalize the Kickstarter page for From Parts Unknown No. 4, set up the store on pestocomics.com, set up pulpwriterly.com, get the call for entries going on bigsmokepulp.com, and hit my word count goals for Project Hollywood. Project updates. Still just 2 projects to watch, but now that I'm back and settled into things, this list will be growing rapidly. Number 1, From Parts Unknown No. 4 will launch on July 2nd to give it the biggest launch possible, and it buys a little time for a couple key pieces of art to be finished. We're 2 followers shy of 100 followers at the time of this writing, so please give it a follow on Kickstarter. And number 2, Big Smoke Pulp Volume 1 is available on Kindle Unlimited right now through August. There's 40 incredible stories from 40 excellent authors, including yours truly. You could read that on Kindle Unlimited. Role updates. As I mentioned in the Worklog, I'm the new Community Engagement Coordinator for Indie Authors Canada. This means that I'll be arranging the writing meetups that are hosted year-round in Toronto as an extension of the Toronto Indie Authors Conference. I'll be working with the team to get our first meeting together soon. In the meantime, if you're an indie author and you're interested in attending the Toronto Indie Authors Conference or one of the meetups, you can join the Discord today. There's a link in the Substack. With that, let's talk about the weekend that was at the East Coast Comic Expo. Main story. Somewhere new. Last year, I went far and wide to push everything Pesto Comics. That sent me as south as San Diego and to the other side of the world at Thought Bubble in Harrogate, England. I didn't want to stop that trend this year, but I decided to keep it a little closer to home. I've been meaning to check out more of our beautiful country, and tabling at a convention was a good excuse as any to do so. Fortunately, Kevin and the team at the East Coast Comic Expo made it very easy. The good. One of the first things I noticed about those positioned around me was that a lot were familiar faces from other conventions. There was, of course, Amelia Strilchuk, who I run into nearly everywhere. She was actually upgraded to a guest level table, which led to some very exciting developments she'll share in the future. I recommend checking out Amelia's Substack for more on that. Amelia's gain was ours too, as former Torontonian Brian Huang and I got to use her table space to expand our own. Brian has been doing this for a lot longer than I have, and not only shared a few great tips, but also had a lot more to fill the table, along with an extra tablecloth. I also got to meet the wonderful Meg Leader and her dad Derek. She brought so much life to the weekend, pure extrovert energy, and a very talented artist. I'm looking forward to hanging out with her again soon. Stephanie Cook is another Toronto local who found herself out east. I feel like we've been crossing each other's paths for months, and haven't had the chance to officially say hello to each other until now. Funnily enough, we even crossed paths at the airport and didn't get to connect until we met at East Coast Comic Expo itself. I'm glad to have finally done so, as she's even more fun to talk to than people told me she would be. Stephanie is very easy to find as she's a regular guest on the con circuit, so I'm sure we'll be crossing paths again soon. Brian was on one side of me, and to my other was first-time tabler Raymond Afrianto with his book, First Chance Exception. He was kind enough to swap copies of Naked Kaiju Woman and Crazy Latte Thing Called Love in exchange for his book, which I can't wait to dig into. In a former life, my dream was to become a game dev. My math skills, or utter lack thereof, had me focusing on English instead. A story for a future post. All that said, this book is right up my alley. Raymond didn't need to sell it to me beyond the cover, but the more we spoke about it, the more excited I got to read it. I'm really looking forward to it. Unlike most cons I've attended over the past couple of years, this is one of the few that I can say I made table, and then some. A lot of this is thanks to the very reasonable table rates. I didn't break the bank, nor did I cover the cost of the trip entirely, but knowing that I at least cover the cost of the event itself made it a lot easier to relax. Not to mention, this was one of the best hosted events I've been to as an attendee in Artist Alley. We were treated to meals, drinks, and a mid-con party, something I haven't seen replicated at conventions in Ontario. This is up there as one of the best shows I've been to thus far. The not so good. If I had one nitpick about the con, it was having a Friday-Saturday schedule versus the usual Saturday-Sunday. It led to a very quiet Friday, with only 3 hours of non-VIP time. From what I could see, it was mostly people who bought weekend passes that showed up on the Friday. I'm sure there's reasons for it, but if I could change anything, it would be that. Otherwise, it was honestly a great show. As far as the week itself goes, I have to warn against wasting your time at Magnetic Hill. I feel like such a tourist for having gone. Pick a random parking lot, throw it in reverse, and save yourself the $10 entry fee. I didn't opt for any lobster on this trip either, so I found it to all be Disney priced. They saw us coming a mile away, and if dining in Italy has taught me anything, it's more about the preparation than the location. I could get a slightly less fresh lobster roll in Toronto for a fraction of the price. I'll be seeing you at Buster's Cove soon. Looking forward. The buzz is back. I'll definitely come back to the East Coast Comic Expo. I had such a good time, and the buzz that I was missing from TCAF came back with this experience. Most of it was getting to connect with fellow creators, but the fans were also a lot more friendly and open than most recent shows I've been to. It's an open question as to whether I extend it into a vacation again. We missed out on a dinner with new friends as we had to hit the next location, so I think next time we'll take it a lot slower. I also had the pleasure of having my wife as a table mate. She didn't stick around for long, instead taking in the city with the occasional stop in, but it was nice having her with me. She also has the gift of the gab when she cares to turn it on, so she was great at breaking the ice with a lot of folks. We'll see if I could drag her out to future far-flung events. All in all, we had a great weekend in the Maritimes. With this being the only full-fledged convention until the fall, that's confirmed at least, it's a great way to end the first phase of convention season. Here's hoping the next round is just as fulfilling. Until next time. Have you been to Canada's East Coast? Anything I missed? Anything I should look out for next time? Let me know in the comments. And what's coming up on the Substack? This Saturday, June 21st, we have a new paid post, The Truth Behind Tabling. Hello? Come say hi, please? And Wednesday, June 25th, we have The Postmortem for From Parts Unknown number 3, an in-depth look at the 8th Pesto Comics campaign. And Wednesday, July 2nd, a new date for the launch for From Parts Unknown number 4 with The End from Parts Unknown number 4, wrapping up From Parts Unknown with a double-sized conclusion. And for upcoming appearances, as I mentioned, I don't have any conventions on the schedule as of yet. However, I do have to confirm what's going on with Fan Expo Canada. They've opened up the waitlist and I haven't received a refund, nor have I received a confirmation that I'll be tabling. So I'm reaching out to them to figure out what the deal is there. I either have a table fee coming my way, or you can expect to see me there at a table at Fan Expo Canada in Artist Alley. As soon as I know how that ends up, I'll let you know. But I'll be attending either way, as if I don't land a table, I'll definitely be getting a ticket and showing up. As to where I'll be tabling, you can find me at Wayside Comics and Cocktails twice, between now and Word on the Street in September. So that's July 19th and September 13th. You can find me at Wayside, as I'll be doing a spotlight both of those days. And Word on the Street will be September 27th and 28th this year, this time at David Pico's Square in Toronto. And the Pesto Comics release calendar. So, with From Parts Unknown number 4 being pushed to July 2nd, this pushes everything else out about a week. So Naked Kaiju Woman number 2 will be releasing on September 17th, and the upcoming unannounced Project Hollywood number 1 will be launching on Kickstarter August 16th. There's a whole bunch of other things that are on the list, and as I mentioned at the beginning of this post, this list will be growing quite a bit as now that I'm settled in, and I'm going to be working through the summer to make sure everything's on the list and ready to go. You can expect to see a lot more coming up on this list, so I'm very excited to share all that with you. And the Instant Ink Comic Book Podcast, we have our 51st episode with my good friend Dana Hennessy as we finish the page that we've put together, and we finally talk about one of those big projects that I've been hinting towards. We don't have the pre-launch page set up quite yet, as we're having a bit of an issue with Kickstarter itself. because it's not allowing us to actually hit that pre-launch page. We're doing it under Dyson Development, under Danon's page. So we're just having a bit of an issue getting that started. But we're going to be doing our Western card game. So if you want to hear all about that, please check out the latest episode of the Instant Ink Comic Book Podcast. That project's going to be a lot of fun when we're finally able to nail it down and get it out there. So please keep your eyes peeled, as I'll be sharing a lot more about that very, very soon. And with that, I want to thank you for listening. As you can hear, my voice is kind of destroyed, just I guess from the week of being out there and both being at the con and just all the travel and who knows what. So I'm having a hard time talking. I'm not my usual loud self, so I'm hoping this goes away by the weekend and the Saturday post I can do it at my full volume. But for now, I'm feeling kind of under the weather in terms of just how my voice is going a little bit scratchy. I'm super sunburnt as well, so definitely feeling the post-travel doldrums. But I had a really good time. I'm looking forward to maybe doing this again next year. I'm too late to apply for HalCon. Had I known I was going to have so much fun, I definitely would have returned for that in Halifax this November. But it looks like I won't make it this year. I might have to apply to try again next year. We'll see how that goes. But I had a great time on the East Coast. I also think it's a good thing that I get to take a little bit of a break now from the conventions and get focused back on the work. I haven't been writing nearly as much of Project Hollywood as I had hoped. I thought I was going to get a lot of downtime and a lot done while I was, in the hotel or just on like in-between phases. And frankly, there just wasn't many in-between phases on this trip. It was a lot of go, 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 to the point that, of course, this post is a day late as well. So I'm hoping to get back on top of things and really get into a really productive state before I table at Wayside Comics mid-July. And then we'll see if I end up at Fan Expo, but that's the end of the summer, so I'm trying not to look too forward in terms of conventions and things like that. So really it's about getting all of the work out and making sure that I'm getting books in people's hands and the new books written and ready and available to go. But yeah, really ramping up the productivity so that the second half of 2025 kind of matches what I was trying to do in the first. I did slow things down a little bit, but I want to ramp that back up and make sure everything is set and ready to go for the rest of the year. I'm really feeling up to it, even though I don't sound like it. So I'm very excited to get back to work. And with that, one of the things I did was push out From Parts Unknown number 4 just one more week. So now we're almost a month behind when I initially planned to launch it. This is a good thing, as there were some unexpected delays with the artist, as there's a bit of a family emergency on Daniel's end. So reasonably so, comics can wait when it comes to family. So I don't mind having to push things out a little bit, just to make sure that everybody's good and square. Fortunately, everything turned out good, family-wise on his end. So everyone's happy, everyone's good to go. And we'll be able to get From Parts Unknown number 4 in your hands still well before the fall. So that's the goal here. And then, of course, Project Hollywood is nearly entirely in my hands and the editor to get that out there. So I think we'll be able to maintain this new schedule that we've set just fine. And I've received all the way up to page 24 now of the sequel to Naked Kaiju Woman. So I'll be pushing that very soon. My goal is to get the pre-launch page up basically at the same time that we launch From Parts Unknown number 4 and start collecting names for that well in advance of launch in September. With all that, I should really get back to it. I really do appreciate you listening. It means the world that you stick around and listen to me ramble here at the end. I'll have so much more for you coming in the near future. I really do appreciate you being part of all of it. I can't wait to show you what's coming. With that, thank you. Have a good week. I'll talk to you Saturday.